Hello and welcome back to the art room with Mr. Eck. Today it's time to paint our clay earthworms that we made in a previous lesson a few weeks ago. Remember this guy right here? He's all been fired, he's hard, white, and ready to paint. The supplies you'll need for this project are some kind of paints. In class we're going to be using some standard watercolors. You'll need some paper towels to clean up any messes, and some water and a paintbrush. So let's get right to it. First, we need to talk about some basic painting rules. We haven't done a whole lot of painting this year, so let's go over a couple of things. Number one, when you're painting with either tempera cakes or these kind of watercolors, you're going to have to first get your brush wet and then gently rub your brush on the paint color that you want, and then it'll be ready to paint. Here's what we don't want to do though. We don't want to go straight from, like I just used the green paint. I don't want to stick that in the yellow or the red or the orange. Before you get any other color, you want to rinse that out. Otherwise, you're going to mix all your colors up, and that will be very frustrating for you as the artist. So that's a super important rule. Always wash out your brush between colors. Before you get another color, you've got to wash Mr. Brush's hair out. Also, you do not want to ruin your brush by flattening the bristles. I don't even want to demonstrate this because I don't want to damage this paintbrush. When you paint, you only want to use the very tip of the bristles. That's this area right here. You only want to use the top. You don't want to flatten it either on the clay or on your paper if you're painting paper. You also don't want to flatten it in the paint tray. At no point should the bristles go like this. It needs to always be nice and pointy like this right here. That way it's a nice tool for you to use, and the paint and the hairs will go exactly where you want them to go. Alright, so let's start painting this guy. Earthworms are usually brown, so if you just want to paint this guy brown, that's perfectly fine. Since this is art class and I'm an art teacher and I like colors, I'm going to paint this guy kind of all kinds of rainbow colors. So I'm just going to start at the top and go on down. Okay, I'll start with a red. So I've wetted my paintbrush, I rubbed the paintbrush, the wet paintbrush, on the red paint, and now I can paint my worm. So I think I'm just going to do like rainbow stripe. I think that sounds really fun. I've never seen a rainbow striped worm before, so I'm going to make one. If your paint starts getting dry, just get a little bit more water on your paintbrush, and like this. Rub it on the paint, and you'll have lots more liquid paint ready to go. I like to paint a couple of times. That way I make sure that the paint is nice and solid looking. It doesn't have like a splotchy look. Alright, so I think that red is done and ready to go. So I'm going to do the rest by time lapse to save some time, and then we'll talk at the end. And that's all there is to it. Once you get to the end of your worm, there you go. You'll have your painted earthworm. A couple more things. If you want to keep the paint from rubbing off and getting on your fingers, then what you can do is get a clear, glossy, like a varnish spray paint. And of course your parents will have to do this, but you could spray it and let it dry, and then it will be shiny and beautiful, and it will also keep the paint from rubbing off. Last thing we're going to do, if you want to, you don't have to, but I'm going to get a little bit of Elmer's glue. That's kind of glue. Or with parents' help, you could use hot glue. And I'm going to glue a couple of googly eyes onto my worm because I think that'd be really cute. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then I'll be done. And that will complete our worm painting activity. I hope you enjoyed painting your worm, and I hope that you find a good, safe place to show him off in your home. And I will see you guys next time in the art room.